We're the only show in America with an in-house psychotherapist. Jill Payne, a member of the American Academy of Psychotherapy. Why? Because you need psychotherapy after hearing some of the things the godless alt-left says. Jill Payne's joining us via Skype today. Hi, Jill.
Good morning, Sam. How are you?
Excellent. Relieved. Great job by the men of Austin SWAT surrounded this dirty, filthy bomber. We're so happy he blew himself up and saved us so much money. He could have lived in the death row for 60 years at $45,000 a year, whatever. Anyway, you're the psychotherapist. What the hell is going through someone's noggin as a 24-year-old to make bombs and send them out indiscriminately to hurt, maim, and kill? What is up with that, Jill?
Well, I have this theory, and I was just talking to you before I got on, that I'm going to be on Houston Life next week on Wednesday, right after your show at 1 o'clock, talking about the real reason there's been an increase in physical violence in today's age, and some ways that we can stomp it out. And so one of the things, and I was just before I got on, I just wanted to Google to reinforce what I'm going to talk about, is that there's a high suicide rate now with the young kids. It used to be, I was telling you the upper 20s to the lower 20s to upper teens, and now they're even 5-year-olds to 12-year-olds. There's been a rise in suicide, and a lot they're saying is because of relationship issues. Well, what's going on is you've heard of what is called the Me Too movement, and I'm not against it or for it. It's just listen to the words. It's me too. It's not us too.
Right.
It's not we too. It's me too. So we are getting dehumanized on the web, and it's gotten to be also groupthink and also dehumanizing. So, and not just dehumanizing, it's gotten where it's all about me. I don't need to listen to your response, and I personalize everything. So then I come into reality. That's virtual. And I want to tell you how this just happened to me, because I'm writing. I know I'm working on the Trump book, but I sort of put a postpone on that because I'm doing this opiate rescue book now. There's a workbook. Right. And so I had somebody send me some information, and they sent me, I don't know, about 4 of those, those little, I don't know what it is. You send papers onto the internet. What do you call them?
Memes?
I don't know. Anyway, so I was sent information, and it looks so little on the internet. I said, I'll go to Kinko's and I'll print these out. It's not going to be
JPEGs.
Much paper.
Okay.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
And so I go and I put it on one of those little things that you can tell how I don't know anything about. The little thing, the USB. I put that on the USB. I go to Kinko's. And so I'm starting to print out all this stuff. The machine broke. It said I had 3 inches of paper printing out, and the machine broke. Literally, I had to leave, come back, and then I ended up printing 3 more inches when I came back. So when you go online, things look different. You think that the whole perspective online is so different. So you come back in reality where I'm looking at you face to face, and people are having trouble relating because it's different. Okay.
No, you're right. Jill Payne, our in-house psychotherapist. Not only that, but the number of people, and I come in early in the morning in the darkness.
Right.
I sometimes have to get here real early, 5-ish in the morning, before 5.
Yes.
And there's women walking around, because we have a health club in our little area, in the dark, in the parking lot, in the dark, walking around in the dark with their face glued to the screen, looking at something on their phone. Woman after woman after woman.
Right.
A lot of guys, too. They'll have their headsets in, listening to some tunes.
Right.
They have voluntarily disconnected from society.
Right. And so this is causing a problem because we're human, and back in caveman day and even now, in order for us to live, they've done studies, we need human touch and we need physicalness. We need love. And so you cannot get that from a text. A text is just it's a black and white 2-dimensional thing and element, and it's not fulfilling our needs. So when we get out and we try to talk to people, we become inept. Like, you saw how inept I am on the computer.
I got this thing and this other thing. Yeah.
Okay, well, so they're the same. These young kids are just as inept in real life. And so I may be inept on the computer, so I don't do it as much. So that's okay. Well, you have to. I mean, if you're going to live, you're going to need to be able to talk to people in the real
Right.
world. So they're talking the way they talk on the internet, and it's not working for them. So they're not being understood, and they're becoming angry. And so what's happening when little kids that are 2 or 3, they don't have a large vocabulary. So how do they express anger? When you're a little kid, temper tantrum, and it's physical. So now that's what these young kids are doing, is they're having temper tantrums. That's what I'm calling them. They're little seizure temper tantrums, and so they can't express verbally, so they're doing it physical.
Wow.
And that's what's going on.
Wow.
That's my theory.
Our in-house psychotherapist, Jill Payne. Can you hold through the break, because we have a lot more to cover?
Sure.
Our in-house psychotherapist, Jill Payne. But first, I'm sorry. They were able to identify the filthy, dirty, disgusting, godless piece of you-know-what, who was the bomber out in Austin. He was identified as a 24-year-old Mark.
Now they're saying 23. There's some argument over that. 23 or 24-year-old Mark Anthony Condit.
The young fella, very young. That's what law enforcement told the AP, but they'll figure out the age sooner or later. Let me get back to our in-house psychotherapist, Jill Payne. Jill, 24 years old.
Right.
Or 23 years old.
Right.
We went into the break talking about how youths today are so disconnected, whether it's women walking to the gym totally staring at their phone, or guys with earpieces on, so walking through the parking lot or walking by our office or going out to lunch. And it used to be when people by themselves, they brought a book, maybe brought the newspaper. Nobody reads the paper anymore. It's a joke. But they're so disconnected. So, you used to know someone was weird. How do you know someone's cracked in the noggin when they're not even talking to people anymore? They're so withdrawn.
So this is the thing. It's our society that's creating this. And so I was going to talk about how we need to educate people on the internet or about the internet and about what's going on in the world, because digitally we are going to be growing and growing and growing. And who knows, eventually you've seen all those movies where we have robots as friends, and we work with them and so forth. Those are in the movies, and so that will become reality. We need to understand that there's a lot of falsities. I think I made up that word, Sam, on the internet, and I'm going to give you an example. Here I am talking to you, and I'm telling you this is my theory, and I even tell clients, I say I'm only one therapist. This is my theory. You can go talk to other people. You're going to find some other things out there. So on the internet, they need to understand that some of this stuff that's out there has not been, there's no research done on it. It's just someone's thoughts and theories. And so they're not taking that. They're just taking everything as face value. Remember how people will just read books and then they believe everything they read. Okay, well, they're believing everything that they see on the internet. And so that's also causing a problem. And the other thing is that you don't even know who's on the internet. So you could be talking to what you think is a female, and it could be a male. Or you could be talking to someone you think is from the United States, and they're from Russia. So there you go. I'm just, so people need to understand this, and this is what we're facing right now. And the young kids that have all these hormones going on, they're even finding out that 5-year-olds are now committing suicide. 5-year-olds.
What is so miserable in the life of a 5-year-old?
Well,
what, they didn't
what
get
do you think?
I don't know. They didn't get cookies or something like that at dinner.
Well, let's talk about this, okay? Because I've got goosebumps. There's a famous developmental psychotherapist or psychologist. He's dead now, and his name was Yuri Bronfenbrenner, and he did this theory that there's 4 or 5 different types of environment, different systems of environment. And so the main environment is your microsystem, which is your parents, everybody that you have direct contact with. Well, my theory is that now we're having direct contact with things such as computers, and the computers are turning into live things like robots.
Right.
And so kids are getting these given to them when they're a month old or a couple of months old, whenever they can move their hands. And so instead of let's say you have a problem, you're 1 year old and you're crying. Instead of me going, "Oh, honey, what's wrong? Let's do something physical. Let's talk or play or whatever." They give them a device.
You know what?
Whole device.
Amen to that. Jill Payne, our in-house psychotherapist who joins us every Wednesday via Skype.
Right.
I'll go to the gym after work, and
Right.
you'll always see like a babysitter or a nanny or something watching the kids while
Right.
mom. You know what the kid give the kid when they're 2, 3, or 4? Either a tablet or a cell phone.
Right.
And you'll see a nanny like with 2 kids, a little brother, little sister, little tiny 2, 4-year-old kids,
Right.
and they each have a phone or device in their hands, and they're staring at a screen, no interaction, which is, in my opinion, is borderline criminal. I would not pay you.
I was going to say it's different than a toy, because I have a media person that he's a friend of mine, and so he is very much into the media, which you are too. And so when I talk to him about this, he'll argue with me, and he says, "Well, it's the same as a toy," and no, it's not, Sam.
No, toys, imagination, and
there you go,
and having fun and making up voices. I used to play with Matchbox all the time. That's what my parents gave me, little Matchbox, little metal, when they were metal.
Yes.
And I'd sit on the floor when I was 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. I think I still have them somewhere. And I would just pretend that this car was going down the street and that car was going, whatever, or Tonka.
Right.
I'd sit outside.
And you would talk. And my son did the same thing, but he did it with those little army men.
Yeah.
Would talk. Right. So it's different, but people today don't understand. They think when you give them an electronic, it's the same as a toy, and it is not.
It's not.
No.
Oh, so much to cover. All right, in-house psychotherapist Jill Payne on the show. As always, thanks for stopping by and joining us. We covered a lot today. Real quick,
I know you're kicking me off real quick. Just want to say, keep friends close, keep enemies closer. That is what Trump was thinking when he made that phone call.
Oh, for Putin?
For Putin.
Okay. And, Don Corleone said the same thing, too, He was talking to Michael, his son, in the garden out there in the end of The Godfather before he dies.
Yeah.
And they try to set up, and Barzini's going to set up the hit. Yeah, I'm with you. Totally with you. Our good friend Jill Payne met her through our good friend Charles Becker. He's at Houston Baptist University, and she needs some web work, and we helped her with the website. Next thing you know, we're talking, and I'm like, you're good. You should be on the radio. Now you're on TV. Hey, listen. Good luck on Channel 2. Thanks for stopping by our show.
Thank you. I'll see you next week.
Okay, yes, of course you will. Of course you will. Quick break.